Welcome, fellow seekers, to Wisdom and Wealth. On this channel, we delve into timeless wisdom to enrich your life, and yes, perhaps even your wallet, but more importantly, your understanding. Today, we're tackling a profound question: why you can't find yourself, the Buddha's answer. It's a question that resonates deeply, especially as we navigate the complexities of life after 40. So, let's dive in and explore why the world's insistence on finding yourself might be leading you down the wrong path. We're going to break down this concept, the traps that keep us stuck, and how you can see what is really there. If you are interested in a new way of viewing things, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to this Buddhist doctrine channel for more thought-provoking content. The world bombards us with the idea that our true self is hidden, like a treasure buried deep within, waiting to be unearthed. But the question to ponder is, what exactly are we searching for? Most of us assume that beneath the ever-changing tapestry of moods, opinions, and fleeting thoughts, lies a bedrock, a solid and unchanging identity. We believe in a core essence that defines who we are, a fixed and consistent I that remains constant throughout time and circumstance. We assume this core makes us who we are. But the real question is this true? This concept of a fixed self is comforting, but is it accurate? Imagine standing before a mirror. The face looking back seems familiar, yet it is not the true you. The reflection is merely light playing off glass, a fleeting image. It shows a version of you, but not the same person who existed yesterday, last year, or even a moment ago. Social media amplifies this illusion. Online, we curate identities, carefully choosing what to reveal, what to conceal, sculpting a version of ourselves that often deviates from reality. We present our happiest moments, filter our faces, and refine our words to fit a desired image. But this image is a construct, not reality. It's like a vivid dream, convincing while it lasts, but gone the moment we wake. This is an illusion, so please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to this Buddhist doctrine channel. The Buddha eloquently described this illusion, comparing our mistaken perception of reality to a bubble, a shadow, a flickering lamp, a phantom, a dream. We often mistake the stories we tell ourselves for something solid, but they are merely shifting appearances. Modern science reinforces this idea. The brain is not a passive observer, it actively constructs reality. Neuroscience reveals that our sense of self is not a static entity but rather a collection of dynamic processes. Memory, personality, and even our sense of identity can fluctuate depending on circumstances. Consider individuals who suffer brain injuries and wake up with entirely different personalities, completely forgetting their past. If the self were truly fixed, such dramatic transformations would be impossible. Instead, the brain creates a sense of continuity for practical reasons, providing a stable identity that simplifies the world and allows us to function effectively. However, this sense of self is a useful fiction, a mental construct that serves a purpose. Long before modern science, the Buddha understood this fundamental truth, stating, "All conditioned things are impermanent." This includes the body, the mind, and even the very idea of me. As the Greek philosopher Heraclitus famously said, "You cannot step into the same river twice." The Buddha's insight goes even deeper. Not only does the river change, but the one stepping into it is also changing. You are not a statue, a static and unchanging entity. You are a river, flowing moment by moment, never the same twice. This constant flux can be unsettling, and because we crave stability, we often resist this truth. We desperately try to cling to an idea of who we are, even as life relentlessly demonstrates that nothing remains the same. This resistance is the source of much of our suffering. We cling to an illusion, afraid to let go, afraid of the unknown. So, what happens when we stop grasping? What happens when we relinquish the search for a self that doesn't exist in the way we think it does? This leads us to the next important question, not just why we can't see ourselves, but why we persist in chasing the illusion. At the midpoint of the video, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to this Buddhist doctrine channel. If the self is not fixed, why do we cling to it so tightly? Why do we insist on defining ourselves, even when life constantly shows that nothing stays the same? The Buddha taught that suffering arises not just from external difficulties but from the way we grasp onto an illusion of self, an illusion reinforced by three powerful traps. These traps are not always obvious. In fact, they often feel natural, even comforting. But they keep us searching for something that isn't there. The first trap is the storyteller in our head. From the moment we wake up, an inner voice begins narrating, "This is who I am. This is my story. I have always been this way." We rarely question this voice. We assume it tells the truth. But the Buddha once responded to a disciple's question about identity by turning it back on him, asking, "What do you think you are?" This response was not a rejection but an invitation to look deeply at how we construct our sense of self. Modern psychology echoes this idea. Dan McAdams describes narrative identity, the ongoing story we tell ourselves to create meaning. But if we examine these stories, they are not as stable as they seem. We remember things selectively. We shape our past to fit our present. We tell ourselves we are kind, yet recall moments of cruelty. We believe we are strong, yet carry unspoken fears. If identity were truly fixed, why would we need to keep reinforcing it? Why would we need to remind ourselves of who we are? The second trap is the endless chase for the perfect self. We believe that somewhere ahead, a version of ourselves exists that is whole, free, and complete. And so we chase. We build, refine, improve, hoping that one day, we will arrive at the destination where we finally feel enough. But the Buddha pointed to a simple truth: suffering arises when we do not get what we crave. And we will never truly get the perfect self, because it does not exist. This illusion is everywhere. It fuels an entire culture of self-optimization, from apps that promise productivity to books that promise transformation. We are sold the idea that happiness is just one more improvement away. Even philosophy warns of this. Seneca, the Stoic, once said that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The suffering of the imperfect self is exactly this, imagined. It is the pain of believing we should be something other than what we are. But if we stop and ask, what is missing, right now, in this moment, the answer is often silence. The final trap is the fear of letting go. Even when we glimpse the illusion, we hesitate. If we stop holding on to this identity, what remains? If we stop defining ourselves by titles, achievements, or failures, who are we? The Buddha once reminded a monk who clung tightly to his status that names and titles are nothing but sounds. But we invest deeply in these sounds. We attach meaning to them, believing that if we lose them, we lose ourselves. This fear runs deep. It is why we defend our opinions, even when they cause us suffering. It is why we struggle with change, even when change is inevitable. But holding on to a fixed identity is like gripping a burning coal. It does not protect us, it only hurts us. These three traps, self-narratives, the pursuit of an ideal self, and the fear of letting go, keep us searching for something that cannot be found. But if we are willing to look beyond them, something shifts. Instead of trying to build a self, we begin to see through the illusion of self. Instead of grasping, we start noticing. The next step is not about replacing one illusion with another. It is about learning to see clearly. Because when we stop chasing, stop clinging, and stop fearing, what remains is something far more real. Seeing reality is not about adding something new, it is about unlearning everything we thought we knew. The Buddha did not offer a doctrine to believe in. He offered a way of looking that cuts through illusion. But illusion is stubborn. It is woven into every moment of our lives. To see through it, we must shift our way of experiencing the world itself. The first shift is learning to press pause. This may sound simple, but it is one of the most radical things a person can do. The mind is like a river, always moving, always reacting. We feel anger, and before we know it, words have already left our mouth. We feel fear, and our body tenses before we even recognize the emotion. In these moments, we are not choosing. We are being pulled. But the Buddha taught a different way: stop. Look. See. Instead of reacting, name it. This is anger. This is fear. This is sorrow. Now at the end of the video, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to this Buddhist doctrine channel. The Satipatthana Sutta describes this as the foundation of mindfulness, not controlling thoughts, not suppressing them, but simply seeing them clearly. This alone is enough to loosen their grip. Neuroscientists confirm this. When we label emotions, activity shifts from the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for automatic reactions, to the prefrontal cortex, where awareness and self-regulation occur. The feeling does not disappear, but it no longer controls us. And in that moment of seeing clearly, something profound is revealed: we are not our emotions. They come. They go. But they are not us. The second shift is embracing, I don't know. This is the opposite of what we have been taught. From childhood, we are rewarded for having answers. We build identities around what we know. We feel safe in certainty. But what if certainty itself is a trap? Zen masters offer questions with no answers. What was your original face before you were born? Without thinking, who are you? These questions are not puzzles to be solved. They are mirrors, reflecting the mind's deep discomfort with not knowing. And yet, modern psychology suggests that sitting with uncertainty rewires the brain. Instead of grasping for false security, we become comfortable with openness. This is what the Buddha meant when he taught not to cling to views. It is not about rejecting knowledge, it is about loosening the grip of rigid identity. When we stop demanding certainty, something unexpected happens: we become free. We no longer need the world to fit into our expectations. We no longer need to protect an idea of who we are. We can simply be. The final shift is understanding that we are the camera, not the photo. A camera takes thousands of pictures, but it is never any single image. It captures joy, sorrow, youth, old age, but it is not defined by them. We are the same. Our experiences change. Our thoughts shift. Our body ages. But beneath it all, something remains: the pure awareness that sees. The Buddha once gave the analogy of a chariot: if you take away the wheels, the axles, the seat, where is the chariot? It was only ever a collection of parts. The same is true of the self. There is no fixed entity, only processes coming together for a time. But this is not nihilism. This is freedom. If there is no fixed self, then there is nothing to defend. No identity to cling to. No past mistake that permanently defines us. We do not need to hold on to suffering, because it was never truly ours to begin with. To see clearly is not to become something new. It is to recognize what has always been true. And once we see it, we can never unsee it. But seeing is only the first step. What comes next is even more profound. Thank you for watching, and please remember to like this video and subscribe to this Buddhist doctrine channel.